So I've been in contact directly with the Spanish Minister for the Interior, as you know now, for some weeks since the pandemic commenced, working on issues relating to fluidity at the frontier and how that would be controlled. And of course, as we've got through the phases and Gibraltar has got to its unlocking phases, ensuring that as soon as possible we were able to see as close to normality as possible at the frontier. And so in the past 72 to 96 hours, I've been in very close contact with the Spanish minister, with Fernando Grande-Marlaska. He thought issues had been cleared on Monday, as his department announced. There were then other difficulties which they needed to deal with, which have now been addressed. And as a result, early this afternoon, I was in contact with him again when he gave me the good news that they'd cleared all of the hurdles that they'd come across since Monday, and that the instruction had in fact now been given. I was able to confirm that through the Chief Executive of the Borders and Coast Guard Agency, Aaron Schipol, who confirmed to me that the instructions had got to the frontier. Some of the difficulties that we experience, of course, are because we have the direct flight to London, and those who come into Gibraltar from that flight to London would have to quarantine if they were going into Spain. The key issue that I was able to reassure the Minister of the Interior on was that we were not permitting people to arrive in Gibraltar if they were not able to show that they were going to act in keeping with our rules, or indeed if they were going to cross into Spain, they were able to comply with the Spanish rules, and we were working closely with the Spanish at the frontier on those issues, and he had that satisfaction from us, and therefore we were able to ensure that after Monday the process was in place to deliver this result.
Arrivals into Spain are subject to 14-day quarantine period, so what can you tell us about Gibraltar residents crossing into Spain? Will they be exempt?
So the understanding that we have is that although those people would have to observe a 14-day quarantine in Spain, they would be able to enter Spain in keeping with Spain's rules for entry from outside of Spain. In other words, if you are returning to your residence in Spain at this stage, so a British person or person of another nationality who is travelling to Spain via Gibraltar because they are resident in Spain or otherwise able to enter Spain under the other exemptions, but having to quarantine because they don't come within the exemption that we've agreed with the Spanish.
You say you've been speaking to the Spanish Interior Minister for a number of weeks. How would you describe your relationship?
Well, I'd say it's a very good relationship. I'd say it's a very positive relationship, a relationship that looks at none of the dogmatic issues that have dogged the relationships in the past. This is a positive approach to wanting to resolve issues. And look, at the end of the day, what you're dealing with here are human issues. I mean, frontiers, notoriously, are established by politicians, and they create havoc for real people. And today what we've been able to achieve is that real people are now able to once again see their loved ones go about their business, etc. Here, the challenge has not been politics. The challenge has been the virus, which has caused issues inside states and between states, and we've been able to resolve them here more quickly than might have been expected. We haven't had to wait until the 21st of June, as some thought we might have to, or indeed until the 1st of July. We've been able to use the relationship in a way that has delivered this advantage for real people. And I know that there are many who've been meaning to see their loved ones, and this is the moment when at last they can grasp them, hug them, kiss them, and that's what I want to be in politics for, to enable people to be closer and not to be separated.
Well, the COVID emergency does continue, so are you concerned about the possibility of increased COVID cases now that there's more fluidity across the frontier?
If I was, the frontier wouldn't be flowing freely. We are taking, of course, public health advice on everything that we do. This is not an area where we believe we have to have a concern. If we had a concern, we would have approached this in a completely different way.